Conjure this in your mind: a woman cloaked in black, stirring a bubbling cauldron under the moonlight, whispering incantations to the night. This is the image that witch often evokes. But where does this image come from? And how has the concept of the witch evolved over the centuries? In the dim, distant past, around the time of the ancient Greeks and Romans, people regarded witches in a different light. Witches, or wise women as they were known, were revered members of their communities. They were the healers, the herbalists, the midwives. They were the ones who held the knowledge of the natural world, using it for healing and divination. But as time marched on, attitudes began to change. With the spread of Christianity in the Middle Ages, the perception of witches took a dark turn. The church, threatened by these powerful women and their pagan practices, began to label them as heretics and servants of the devil. The infamous Malleus Maleficarum, a treatise on the prosecution of witches published in 1487, further fueled this hysteria. The 16th and 17th centuries marked the height of witch-hunting fervor. In Europe and the American colonies, thousands of people, mostly women, were accused of witchcraft, subjected to trials, and often executed. The Salem witch trials of 1692 remain one of the most notorious examples of this period of mass hysteria. In the late 18th and 19th centuries, the Enlightenment brought a shift in perspective. Reason and science began to replace superstition and fear. Accusations of witchcraft declined, but the image of the witch as an evil, malevolent figure persisted in popular culture. The 20th century, however, saw a resurgence of interest in witchcraft, but from a different angle. In the 60s and 70s, the feminist movement embraced the witch as a symbol of female empowerment and resistance against patriarchal structures. Wicca, a modern pagan witchcraft religion, gained popularity, emphasizing a reverence for nature, the divine feminine, and the practice of magic as a force for good. And so, we arrive at today. Witches, once feared and persecuted, now symbolize power, rebellion, and wisdom. They have become popular figures in literature, film, and television, often portrayed as complex characters with their own moral codes and motivations. From the wise women of ancient times to the feared figures of the Middle Ages, from the victims of the witch hunts to the symbols of empowerment they are today, witches have traveled a long and winding path through history. They reflect society's fears and prejudices, but also their hopes and aspirations. They are mirrors held up to culture, revealing more about the people who fear or revere them than about the witches themselves. The history of witches is a fascinating journey, filled with fear, misunderstanding, liberation, and empowerment. It's a tale that continues to evolve, just like the witches themselves.